Okay, so we're talking about indirect measurements. It says indirect measurements use the properties of similar triangles to find measures that are difficult to measure directly. One type of indirect measurement involves shadows. Now here on the side it says you can do height over shadow equals height over shadow, but there's lots of other ways that you could do this. You could flip it and do shadow 1 over shadow 2 is the same as height 1 over height 2. Another way you could do it is you could do shadow 1 over height 1 equals shadow 2 over height 2. So you don't always have to have the height on top and the shadow on the bottom. You could put the shadows together and the heights together, or you could put the shadows on the top and the heights on the bottom. But either way you do it, you have to keep consistent. Do you have the first ones on the top and the second ones on the bottom? Do you have the second ones on the top and the first ones on the bottom? If you have shadow and height, do you keep your first ones together and your second ones together? You have to be careful. So question number 1 says, a flagpole casts a 32-foot shadow at the same time that Evan casts a 9-foot shadow. If Evan is 6 feet tall, how tall is the flagpole? So what I would do is I'd draw a picture. So I've got my flagpole, and I've got Evan. Okay. The flagpole's shadow makes a right angle, and this is 32 feet. And Evan's shadow is 9 feet. And we know that Evan is 6 feet tall. So we're trying to find x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do shadow over height. So 32 over x equals 9 over 6. Then I'm going to solve it like a proportion, cross multiply. (32 times 6 is 192. Then I'm going to divide by 9 on both sides. And this tells me that x is 21. And then 0.3 repeating, I know, is 1/3. 21 and 1/3, or 21 and 0.3 repeating feet tall. So that's how tall the pole is. Now on number 2, I have a stop sign that casts a shadow of 4 feet. So here's my stop sign. Make it look like a lollipop. The stop sign, and its shadow is 4 feet. And my tree has a shadow of 36 feet. My stop sign is 7 feet tall. How tall is my tree? So I could set it up the same way, or I could set up a different way. Doesn't matter which way I do it. So on this one I did shadow over height. So what if I do shadows over shadow equals height over height? So here I have 4 feet over 36 feet is equal to the height, which is 7 over x. So I did my stop sign on the top, and I did my tree on the bottom. So again, when I cross multiply and divide, doesn't matter what order I do this in, it will always flush out in the working of it. So this says 4x is 7 times 36. 7 times 36. 4x is 252, and divide by 4, and that gives me x is 63. So my tree is 63 feet